before she passed, it was about 6 months that we had together. So, you know, I believe she's looking over me now. She couldn't read or write, but she wrote on a card, "I love you, Tommy. I love you, Nan." And on my digital photo frame right now, I've got the card there. You know, that's running all day long next to me. And I always look at it and I say, "I love you, Nan."
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, many millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough, and when we do talk about it, when we do have conversations, many of us are not very good at it. So one of my goals with this podcast from the very start is to have more conversations and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors, in large part to help more people in more places feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. That is the goal. That is what I hope to do and continue to do. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, I'd love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. You can learn more about this podcast in the show notes, the podcast description, and the website. If you are curious, a couple of announcements I want to make. One, I am planning a tour around the United States in the next couple of months. I will be sharing more with you, our listeners, very soon, how you might want to get involved, or at a minimum, how you can attend if you're nearby or close enough or willing to drive some. So stay tuned for that. And of course, a reminder that we are talking about suicide on this podcast, and I don't hold back, and nor do my guests. So please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. I originally spoke with today's guest in May, and several weeks later, he sent me an email, and I want to share it with you to give you additional context to this conversation. He wrote, "Hey buddy, I made another attempt a few weeks ago. Jumped from the Humber Bridge. Only 10 people have survived it. Fractured neck, fractured vertebrae, fractured tibia, broken ribs, blood clots on the lungs, but I survived. Can you please publish our chat because I am ready to go. Thanks and wishing you well." That was sent from Tommy in England. Obviously, Tommy is a suicide attempt survivor. I hope you enjoy the conversation. All right, Tommy, we're going to talk.
Yeah.
You are in London.
South London, Lewisham.
Now, I know your name is Tommy, but your Zoom account says Stone Island.
Well, you know, Stone Island really is sort of connected because, I mean, I have EUPD, which you may know as BPD, and OCD, and we don't conform to rules and stuff like that. And Stone Island, even from the beginning, you know, they experiment with fabrics and materials and colouring and this, that, the other. So, you know, I love the label for what it does, and I've worn it for like 30 years. So,
wait, how old are you?
51.
Okay. How does that feel?
It feels all right. I'm told I don't look 51, but, you know, that's in the eye of the beholder.
I wish I got that more.
So where does the Tommy story start, particularly with respect to suicide?
I've been sectioned 28 times, section 2 of the Mental Health Act, 136 by police, even more times. That's when they find you mentally unwell in a public place. I mean, I've been to bridges, rooftops. You know, I've been on life support so many times I can't count because overdosing is my thing. That's my MO, is overdose. I have cut my wrists. I have been on roofs, but overdosing is my flavour.
So can we say that, and I never want to put words in anybody's mouth. It sounds like to me, based on what you just shared, it's rather unlikely that you're even alive at this point.
Do you know what? It's a fucking miracle because, I mean, the last one, I lost my nan a year and a half ago and she raised me and my world just crumbled. And that's why I've been quiet for a while because I've been mourning my nan, and out of respect for her, now the taste is coming back to my mouth. It's like I took a trial overdose about a week ago of tablets that I don't usually take. I only took 7 and I was fucked. My coordination was all over the place. I fell over about 7 times. I've got bruises and everything everywhere, where my overdoses are usually like 300 tablets.
It's surprising you're here, but I'm glad you're here. Very glad. I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to talk. how did you, if you recall, find the podcast in the first place before you ever reached out?
Do you know what? I'm glad you asked that question. Part my nighttime routine is I'm on my iPad from 5 o'clock because I just want the day gone. I don't like being here. I don't want to be here. I've listened to all these other podcasts, so I've gone right through all of them. And then I started researching. I just put suicide into Apple Podcasts and I listened to a few and I'm like, you're boring, you're boring, you're boring. And then I listened to a podcast where a guy, I don't know his name, I can't remember the podcast, he was interviewing you. And the way you came across as someone who doesn't have lived experience, you are the truth, brother. You know when to speak, you know when to listen, you show respect. And I had to rewind again and listen to the name of the podcast. And then I started listening to yourself.
I appreciate that a lot. And I appreciate you reaching out.
If you remember when I emailed you, I said, I'll blow your podcast up because I am militant.
I really appreciate your honesty, Matt. I love it. Well, you make a really good point. Like, just because someone listens to the podcast doesn't mean each episode is so compelling to them, right? You find people or ideas or stories that you connect with, and you're hardcore. That's that. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm suicidal. I am suicidal.
Yeah, I get. I know. That's yeah. All right. You find me. You listen to a few episodes. You reach out at some point. Like you just said, why?
I reached out straight away because not digressing. I've had a bit of a flu or something over the past few days, sweating through the night, this, that, the other, called up 111 non-emergency ambulance. Next minute, when I'm speaking and I mentioned that I took a little overdose the other day and they looked at my history, I've been in ambulances all afternoon. And then they had the mental health people come down and I'm telling them, look, I've got to be on a podcast. I've got things to do. All right, I'm going to give you so much of my time and then I'm gone. And then it got to 10 to 4. I said, right, 10 minutes and we're going to wrap up. And I could see it in their faces and I was controlling, because I don't like mental health nurses from the wards. They're lazy bastards. They're ignorant. They don't know shit. I said to the lady, I said, you're a mental health nurse. I don't really like you. Yeah, because of my experience, but I'll tolerate you, and I've been labeled as being extremely manipulative. Said, when you called something long enough and it hurts, in the end, you think, fuck it, I'm going to own it. So I've researched body language. I've researched this. I've researched that. And now I am a master manipulator.
You manipulating me right now?
No, brother. I'm going to qualify this. You manipulate someone when you want something or you need something. I don't want or need anything from you. You're amazing. You're giving to me. You're giving me space. You're giving me an audience.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. Maybe it's me. If we zoom out a little bit here, bro, that's manipulating you.
Bring it on.
I've been very fortunate. I've done some traveling. I've lived abroad, and there are certain people and certain cultures and certain places that you just connect to more. And there's something about, I guess it's like certain areas of the UK where I'm just like, I just fucking love the directness and the honesty. And often there's also a tinge of like the sarcasm. It really just is like so aligned with my brain. I like it. Let's go. How many people in your life know that you're talking to me about this?
The ambulance crew and the mental health crew that were here today. I'm very prevalent on macrumors.com and I've been going for a bad patch and they've been very supportive and lovely. And I mentioned it on there. I've been wearing my Apple Watch to bed to track my sleep and it's just fucking chaotic. I hardly get any sleep. Yeah, they've been very supportive, but you should get a good few more listeners now from now. And it must be interesting for them to hear my voice.
Just to be clear, you were now. It's what is it about? It's early evening there because you're in England. Obviously, I'm in the East Coast of the U.S. So you're saying today you were in the hospital in an ambulance?
No, I was in the ambulance and I said, look, you're not taking me to hospital, are you? No, I said, you're not taking me to hospital. I've got a podcast to record.
Right. I like your priorities. Now, let me ask you this because you're shooting straight here. There are some people that would hear this and say, dude, Sean, that is irresponsible and unethical to have a conversation with someone about this stuff when literally this fucking day, today, they were in a hospital, an ambulance, and would have gone to some kind of hospital or facility, presumably, for their mental health. You should not. It is way too soon. What would you say to those people?
I'll tell them, fuck you.
Okay.
I've been around the block. Listen, I've been Section 28 times. I've been 136 countless more times. They can't tell me shit. I am suicidal. I am now under the care of a secure facility, but they have an outpatient. So I'm going to be starting long-term therapy in a couple of months if I'm still here. Because I got sectioned first time. They said, will you go voluntarily? And I went, I was scared. I said, and I went voluntarily. And I walked in. It was the middle of the night, and it stereotypical mental health ward. I said, no, I want to go. They said, look, just wait till the morning. You'll see the consultant, and then it'll probably let you out in a few days. I said, no, I want to go now. Open the fucking door. They said, please, Tommy, stop, because you'll get sectioned. I said, open the door. I said, last chance, Tommy. Next minute, they sectioned me. So you got section 2 of the Mental Health Act. You got section 3 as well. But they always start with a section 2. That's up to 28 days. And they class that as for assessment. They're assessing you for 28 days. And after that first one, I never went voluntarily again. It was always after like a massive overdose. I've come out of a coma, life support. The AMPs come. An AMP is an approved mental health practitioner. They're specialist psychiatrists. And I was just sectioned after section after section. And I'm in now and I'm walking around and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing to help me? Where's the therapy? Where's the this? Where's the that? Pill time, nothing.
That's one of the reasons why you never went voluntarily again?
I was never offered voluntarily again. They knew that they knew that I weren't going to go.
If it was a place where it could actually help, would you go?
Well, like I said, I'm meant to be starting that 1 day a week for about a year and a half in a couple of months. I'll give that a try. But people irritate me. If I'm there and someone says the wrong thing, I could just explode. But the idea is this therapy is to help me to overcome that or what, but I don't want to be a air quotes normal person. Why try to fit in when you was born to stand out?
What's this other number you used? It was a 136?
Oh, that's if police find you mentally unwell in a public place.
Okay. And the police are trained to know what mentally unwell looks or sounds like?
Well, when I sort of switch and go psychotic, I can become psychotic with my diagnosis, my illness or whatever. It's evident. Or if I'm on the top of a building about to jump off, the Clifton Suspension Bridge in Bristol, sectioned. I've been to the Humber Bridge in Hull. I lost my bottle when I drove back. But then I phoned up and I said, I haven't paid you for my crossing. And then I got chatting and I mentioned what I went there for. Next minute, I had police and ambulance at my door because I'm classed as extremely high risk. I mean,
high risk to self or high risk to others?
To self.
You ever hurt anybody else?
When I was younger, I went to prison twice. Well, I hurt someone on both occasions. They started on me. I tried to ignore it. They pushed me too far and then they got hurt. I did the crime, did the time. That's it.
So you are 51. Do you remember the first time? And then this might be a really hard one, but do you remember when you first started thinking about ending your life? How old you were?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this since we agreed on this meeting. I was in love with a girl called Kelly and I was with her for about 3 years. She was my soulmate. She was fucking beautiful inside and out. It came to an abrupt ending because I told her something I should have told her long before, but I started getting unwell then and I was taking overdoses. I cut my wrists. I was getting psychotic. I was still living at my nan's. I thought that there were people in the attic. And I said, what have you got people in the attic? What are they doing to me? What are they going to do to me? And that night, I swear to God, I slept in my nan's bed. My nan was on one side. My brother was on the other side. I put sellotape on the handle of the door and the door. So if anyone opened it, I would hear it. And I was holding a carving fork. None of us slept for the whole fucking night, but I started getting unwell then,
How old were you?
I'd say 20 because I know that I had my 21st birthday in Belmarsh prison.
Up until 20, give me a 1-minute summary of your life.
Primary school, went to a very good secondary school, Haberdashers Asks, didn't get anything out of it. Went to college, excelled. I aced everything, computing. I should have gone to uni, but someone took, I never used to go out because I was raised by my grandparents. I was wrapped in cotton wool. At the end of my college course, a certain person took me out and said, try this, give me a tablet. It was an ecstasy tablet. And I didn't stop raving for about 7 years. And next minute I'm in prison and then come out and doing this, doing that, whatever. Raving was fucking brilliant. I think that's why I find life so boring now, because when you're raving, you've got everyone from every background. You've got a Rastafarian on your right side. You've got 2 gay girls kissing each other on the left side. everyone's peeled out their nuts. I remember sitting down talking to a beautiful girl, you know what I mean? And her boyfriend's coming up and saying, all right, mate, is she looking after you and all that? And now, can you imagine that in this day and age? They'll be like, what the fuck are you doing talking to my girl, you know? But everyone was loved up. It was the second summer of love. And I'm thinking, where I've taken so many E's, maybe I've used up all my dopamine.
Did Kelly ever find out about what happened after Kelly?
I remember I phoned there when I came out of prison once and I spoke to her and no, we met up before I went to prison. But afterwards, she'd met someone else and I believe they got married and they had a child and this and that. But I've been through so many girls because I was really fat when I was in secondary school and then I lost it all towards college. And then I lost it all towards the end. I went from a pig to someone, you know, I weren't too bad looking. I went through loads of girls, but I always compared them to Kelly.
At what point? So when was your first attempt?
I don't know if it was an attempt because I cut my wrist open and it was like an eye. It was so massive I could see the tendons and it stopped bleeding. So I cut it again above, again stopped bleeding. Switched arms, cut it, stopped bleeding, cut it. When I say cut it was open I had like 4 eyes on my wrists in the hospital. I remember my dad was there and he was kissing me and he said, I love you, boy. Please don't do this to yourself. You'll find another girl. After my second prison sentence, I think I started to get unwell then, you know, because the first prison sentence was, I loved it, to tell the truth. I didn't mind it. You know, I was wrapped around all the old school armed robbers and they all took me under their wing. Because when you go to prison, they ask to see your deposition. They want to know if you're a nonce or a grass or a rapist or whatever. And when they saw what happened to me and what I did, they was like, come here, boy, you're all right. Do you need anything? You know what I mean? It's all good. But the second one, it was very tricky, very clicky in there, you know, and it made me paranoid and I was a bit different when I come out of that one. But
so when was the first prison stint?
It was 96. So I don't know. I can't do the math.
Okay. You'd have been like in your early to mid 20s. And then the second one, was that much later?
I can't remember. I think it was about 10 years later. I can't remember.
So all right. So the first one was in your 20s. The second one was in your 30s. So it sounds like for about 30 years, you have been tell me if I'm wrong though, of course. You've been regularly thinking about ending your life and you have actually tried to end your life. Take a ballpark, take a guess of how many times you've tried.
Maybe, I suppose, 28 sections. So maybe, I don't know, 35.
And overdosing was usually the way.
Yeah.
What's the closest you came to dying from a suicide attempt?
I've been in comas. Did I tell you the last one I had a tracheostomy? Fucking brutal. There are 2 types of comas. The one where you don't remember anything. It's not blackness. It's like it goes from you taking the tablets, then you wake up from a coma. Tommy, are you all right? And then you got other comas where you have experiences. Excuse me, my last one, I had about 4 different experiences and it was as real as you and I now. Physical as this table, this MacBook, everything. And in each of them, I was either being experimented on or tortured. Anyway, when I come to, I had the fucking tracheostomy. I cut my neck open, put the tube in my neck and all that. I'm laying on the bed. I couldn't speak. That was the closest I got, you know. And then when I did have the tracheostomy taken out, I said, why did you do that? Why didn't you just put a pipe in my throat like before? They said, because you kept pulling the pipes out. And inside this dream or whatever it was, on one of the experiments, they were putting all things in my mouth and I was trying to pull them out. When I came out of the coma, they kept coming up every day, injecting me massive syringes with this antibiotic. I was still fried in my mind. But when I went to this other room, I went from critical to intensive. I got up, I stood up and I walked to the bathroom and I was like a baby giraffe because I've been in bed for about 3 weeks. I said, right, I'm leaving. And they all come running up to me. No, Tommy, no, you're very unwell. You can't go. I said, if you fucking touch me, I swear I will defend myself. And the nurse, I said, why'd you keep injecting me? You're experimenting on me, ain't you? See, I was still psychotic from the dreams, yeah? Anyway, she said, look, Tommy, if you go to your bed, I promise I'll come to you in a minute and I'll tell you what's happening. Anyway, she come up to me and she said, we don't know how it's happened, but you've contracted the most severe blood disease you can get. She gave me the name of it. I didn't take it down. They were taking blood cultures, not blood tests, blood cultures. She said, if we don't get rid of it, it will kill you. Now, you can tell I wasn't in my right mind, because if you said that to me now, I'd be like, thank you, keep your fucking medicines. This is my exit. This is my way out, right? So next minute, I'll get past that. I'll get through that. Move me to another wall. 2 days later, they're coming in with masks. Sorry, Tommy, got to inform you, you've contracted COVID. I said, are you having a fucking laugh? what is this hospital? Before all of this, when I was in the coma, apparently I had to be rushed from one hospital to another because there were tablets stuck on my lungs. So that to go in through my mouth, but they didn't have the equipment. So to answer your question, that was the closest I think I've got.
Damn. When was that?
March, not last year, but the year before, I believe.
Is there a why? I mean, like if I just said, hey, Tommy, you keep trying to kill yourself. Why do you want to die?
I'm not happy. I don't like life. I don't like the rules. I don't like anything about it. And now my nan's gone. My granddad, my dad, they were unconditional love to me. That's it. I've got nothing. I have no interests. I love my Apple stuff. That's it. I've got the two games consoles in front of me. I haven't gamed in years. I used to be a hardcore gamer all my life. And also, maybe this is part of the illness. I love the risk. I love the risk because they say EUPD or BPD, risky drinking, risky sex, risky spending, risky driving, which I don't do, suicidal ideation or attempts. And that is where I fit in now. The only time I feel alive is when I'm trying to take my life. How about that? How about that for a title for a book?
Now you believe that. Don't fuck with me. That's a good fucking quote.
Listen, I'm telling you, bruv, that's the only time I feel alive. And I've taken it, because now it's not enough just doing it indoors. I'm barred from so many pubs because I've overdosed in now. There's a place called Bromley. Anyone in the UK will know Bromley. And I booked into a hotel. The only mistake I made is I phoned up my old doctors because they caused me to have tinnitus. And that's where I got the sleeping pills from. Do you want to get a good night's sleep? Yes. And that's where it all started. Anyway, I phoned them and I said, I'm taking my life today and it's your fucking fault. Next minute, I've gone to the hotel. I wanted to pay in cash. I couldn't pay in cash. I had to do it with my card. I was going out. I was on a pub crawl. I was meeting people. I was happy. I was dressed smart. All my hair was tidy. Because for me, I was going on my journey. Next minute, I'm back in the hotel. It's about 3:00 in the morning on the door. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I've opened the door. There's two coppers. Yeah. Anyway, they've come in. They said, Tommy. I said, yeah. They said, we've been told that you're going to be trying to take your life tonight. I'm paraphrasing, I don't know word for word. I said, no, I'm just out having a drink and I don't want to drive back. So I booked into a hotel. They said, there seems to be a bag of tablets on the table. I said, yeah, it's my medication. They said, but they're all out of the blister packs. You've got hundreds there. I said, look, bruv, I'm really tired. Can you just let me get some sleep? And one of the coppers was trying to speak to his sergeant, but he couldn't get a signal on his cell. On his cell phone, yeah? So he had to go to the end of the landing by the window. And there was one copper still there. I said to him, bruv, I'm just so tired. Can you just go with your mate and let me lay down for a little bit? If you come back and say I've got to go with you, I'll come. He said, all right, mate, I'll do that. What mistake did he make? He left the fucking bag of tablets there. By the time they come back, they were gone. I remember walking down to reception with them. And I demanded my money back, got my money back. Don't remember anything else after that. So I must have just dropped. Next minute, woke up on life support.
When you take a lot of pills, doesn't it sometimes really fucking hurt?
No, not the pills that I'd take. I won't say what I'd take. They're small.
Well, for example, there was a night where I have a sleeping issues. I fucking took like 12 or 15 sleeping meds. I had no intention of dying. I just wanted to fucking sleep. And I remember it hurt. In the next couple hours, I was in pain. I don't know what it is. Some organs are trying to deal with this shit, right? So I would imagine it hurts.
It got so bad that because I used to stockpile medication. That's how I managed to do it. But it would take 6 months. But in between, to get my fix, I will take a paracetamol overdose, which is much more brutal. You have to go in hospital and the treatment is acronym. It's called NAC. And you are physically fucking sick. Your kidneys hurt, you're sweating. But that was to get my fix in between, because I was so addicted to it. But with the other tablets, no,
Well, you don't know what you're doing, Tommy, because you ain't dead.
Do you know what? This is a paradox. I am an expert in overdosing. Obviously, it's a paradox because I'm still here, but it's only because they keep bringing me back.
Do you think I should include that in the episode?
Everything. Yeah. Don't hold
Do you think that gives people such a recipe that it might actually cause people to die?
Do you know what? If someone doesn't want to be here, don't force them.
Man.
I write. I used to write a lot more, but I've written a few little pieces. Do you want me to read you a little one?
Yeah.
Right. It's called Freedom. Yeah. It's only short. Freedom. The thoughts plague my mind. As the cadence intensifies, the message slides into focus. Something awaits on the other side. I believe it. Deep within, I am assured it is my destiny. The key to freedom lie in my hands. It shall course my veins on a joyride of ecstasy. It will lift me out of the madness and set me free. I'll feel it. As it beckons me, I'll weaken. I'll welcome it in. Soon I shall surrender. Soon I shall be free.
South London poet.
And you didn't know it.
All right, so let's go here. What do you think lies on the other side?
I believe in heaven. You know, I'm very spiritual. I was Hindu for a while, but I gave up Hinduism because I found out what happens to Hindus if you take your own life. Apparently, you go to a place that's in between earth and hell, and you're walking on hot coals for an eternity or for the full length of your life that you would have lived. And then you have to come back and do it all again. With Hinduism, the goal is to reach moksha, because I believe in reincarnation. The idea is you reincarnate time and time again until you've achieved everything you have to achieve. You've learned everything you have to learn, and then you reach moksha, which is when your soul and your spirit is free. But I'm a Church of England fella. I would love to think that I'll go to heaven because I watch a lot of NDEs, near-death experiences. I'll go to heaven. I'll spend time with my nan, my dad, our pets, lost loved ones, and then I'll reincarnate. And I know that I'm going to come back as a girl. I've got a ponytail. I don't have an identity crisis. I'm gay friendly. I don't have any issues in that way. But I'm just thinking I'll give it a go as a girl. But the beauty is, if I don't like it, I'll just go again. Yeah.
This is an interesting conversation, Tommy.
I knew it would be. I did tell you in the email, didn't I?
You did. No, yeah. So I'm going to imagine that there's a lot of people that know that you've tried to take your life at one point or another.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a secret.
No. A lot of people do steer clear of me when I go into certain pubs and oh, fuck. Because I am known as being mentally unwell. So
if I was talking to you in a pub or wherever, right? Doesn't need to be a pub. Let's take alcohol out of it because alcohol sometimes changes shit up. Just meet you at a barbecue. Would I immediately think, if I knew nothing about you, do you think I would think, this guy's pretty fucked up?
The thing is when I leave this flat, when I go out, I put on my mask. I wear Stone Island, Gucci, Armani. I shave. I've got my hair all tidy, everything. You wouldn't tell. Because I'm like I describe myself as a chameleon. I can talk to a professor. I can talk to an armed robber. I can talk to a crack dealer. I can talk to a podcast host. I've had so many experiences. I'm extremely intelligent, but I've been in jail for 5.5 years. So I can tell you how to do this, how to do that, I can walk into a crack house in Brixton and get a handgun. I'll be back in an hour. Do you know what I mean? I can tell you how to code in C or how to, sort out your iPhone or how to, I can converse with anyone and I love it. And I can walk into a pub, barbecue or wherever, and I'm a people watcher because I used to be a street photographer. So I'll just watch someone, I'll listen to them talking maybe, and I'll size them up and I'll be right, okay. And I'll slip in and I'll just talk to them.
But answer my question. What would I think of you?
Whatever I wanted you to think of me, I suppose.
So why do the people at the pub think you're...
Oh, because no, they know me. They know me well. So.
All right, so people know you and they know your history a little bit. That changes things.
Yeah.
Fair or not, but if they think, oh, this guy tried to off himself a few times, he's been in the hospital, let's steer clear of that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So do you have friends?
No, I pushed everyone away. That's part of this EUPD. We don't like people getting close to us because we fear rejection.
So you lost your nana. That's grandma, right?
Yeah, my nan, yeah. I have no one. I'm homebound. I don't really go out,
So throughout your life, as you were dealing with all of this stuff, I'm wondering how you made money.
I can't talk about that.
You said you'd talk about anything.
Yeah, but
I think we have an idea, and we don't need to know the details. But you got by. Here you are. You have a nice flat.
Yes, all right. I don't like it. I don't want to be here.
Well, you don't want to be alive.
No.
Where would you go if you can go anywhere right now?
I'd go to America.
What part of America would you go to if you wanted to live anywhere for a while?
I'd go Miami, Florida. And by the way, when I first listened to you, I thought you was a black fella.
Oh, really?
I thought you completely wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a white guy. Not super white. There are whiter people, but I'm white.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah, I'm very white. Yeah.
You are? Okay. I can't see Tommy. I just see this logo of Stone Island because he didn't want me to see him. So if you don't have people in your life, you don't have anyone to talk to.
The only person that I'm in contact with is the birth mother, but we speak now and again.
Your birth mother?
My birth mother, yeah.
Okay.
She didn't raise me. There's a brother and sister. They've basically cut me loose since my nan's passing. The mother, I know she favours them, but we go out every so often for lunch, and there's usually an argument, and she's always comparing me to people, and other people have mental health, poor mental health, but they don't do the things that you do. I'm not, yeah, I'm just doing me. But fuck her anyway. Do you know what I mean? How can she judge me when she's done what who gives their child away? And then a year later has another one.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years later has another one and keeps them too. But anyway, that's that. They say that EUPD and BPD is born of childhood trauma and abandonment issues. So obviously she's caused it all.
Did you get abused as a child?
No, I had a good upbringing. My nan and my granddad, I called him dad. They gave me everything. They spoiled me. They loved me. And I was always my nan's favourite and my dad's favourite. When you put all your eggs in one basket, when my nan sadly passed away, that was me fucked. But I've always said when nan goes, I won't be far after her. It's been a year and a half now, so the itch is coming back. I took that trial one the other day. I've been to a certain bridge since then, but like I said, my bottle went. I am going to take my life. It's just a matter of when and what method. Another method I've got, and I've told the air quote professionals this, I've got the perfect knife. I'll sit in my bath. I'll stab myself in both lungs. One of two things will happen. My lungs will collapse and I'll suffocate, or they'll fill with blood and I'll drown. Minute and a half, see you later, baked potato, I'm gone.
I've never heard the see you later baked potato. So you're going to die when you're 51. When's your birthday?
July. Cancerian, yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
That's not too far away. You think you're going to be alive for your 52nd birthday?
I don't know, I mean, a lot can happen in that time. Let me ask you a question. Do you think, let's say 51, do you think if someone took their life at the age of 51, do you think that would be tragic?
But why does the age have to do with it?
Well, if someone was really young and they did it, you'd be like, bloody hell, there was a kid, they didn't give life a go and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
But 51.
You got to understand, and I think you understand very much, very, very clearly. And if somebody's struggling for a long time and they want to end their lives, I don't think that's tragic. Now, if somebody could have gotten legit help and wanted to stay alive, that's the tragic part. But I think somebody taking their life because they're ready to leave the world, sure. 21 is different than 51. Have you lived a full life? I mean, we're not meant to live to be 200 years old. So what does it matter? 51, 61, 71, we're going to die. You're fucking miserable. What's the point in living forever miserably? And I mean, it's condescending as fuck for somebody to say, hey, Tommy, no, did you try this med? Did you do this? Do you exercise? It's like, enough.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Are you stupid? I don't think so.
That's why I don't like mental health nurses, because they always come, oh, Tommy, you're only young and you're good looking and why you do this and this, that, and I'm thinking, you stupid cunt. Do you know what I mean? You've read books for 4 years and you know shit about shit.
Yeah. I mean, do you think it's tragic? Do you think not even if it was me, we're about the same age. Forget me. Do you think you taking your own life is tragic?
Oh, do you know, I was hoping you was going to say, yeah, it would be tragic, but I understand. And I want it to be tragic. I want it to be, because then people look at it and look at my background, and a lot of people don't know exactly what I've done, all the attempts I've made, and the amount of times I've been on life support and in comas, and then to finally do it. Surely someone would say, hold on, where the fuck was the help in all this time?
Yeah.
And now I'm 51, they're offering me this long-term therapy. Now my nan's passed away and she's had to witness me fucking worrying about every phone call and getting knocks on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning by police. Are you Pat? Yeah. Listen, we're really sorry, but do you want to come with us? We don't know if Tommy's going to make it through the night. Do you know what I mean? Where was the fucking help then? I'm going for this therapy, but if they'd have offered me this 8 years ago, I would have been a different person now.
And let me say, yeah, there's a tragic component to it, of course. But, when you asked me that question, for some reason, I was leaning more towards, I don't think it's that tragic if you're a grown person struggling for so long. But of course, if you had asked me tomorrow, I might have a different answer, frankly. Yeah. I don't have BPD or EUPD, but, I'm moody as fuck. And I'm not comparing. Just tomorrow, I might have been like, yeah, that's tragic. I don't know. Humans are weird.
Yeah, definitely. And I tend to keep away from most of them. But
how often do you leave your house?
Well, if I've got a mental health appointment, I'll go to that sometimes. I can be indoors for 2 weeks with the mother. I would try to go out once a week and have lunch, but that would be after an appointment. So I'd like to fit it all in one day so I don't have to experience the world too much. you ask, how do I buy things and this, that, the other. If you don't go out for 2-3 weeks at a time, you ain't spending money, are you?
Not too much. Nope. Do you take any meds?
I'm on olanzapine, mirtazapine, venlafaxine, zopiclone, promethazine, and lorazepam.
If you weren't on any of them, would we be having this conversation?
Who says that I'm taking them?
Yeah, right. Well, I kind of meant not what was prescribed to you, but what you take most days.
Yeah. When I'm unmedicated, I can be a bit more wild. When I'm medicated, I'm just more methodical in my approach. The only thing the medication helps with really is the intrusive thoughts, intrusive images, sleeping, and tinnitus. It makes you put on a lot of weight.
The tinnitus is brutal, man. That's the ringing in the ear that doesn't go away.
Fucking horrible. It's the devil whistling in your ears, mate.
Yeah. I've talked to some people on this podcast, and they were like, that was one of the main reasons why.
Yeah. There was a German lady I saw on YouTube, and she couldn't take it anymore. I mean, she's gone by now, but she had, I think she went to Dignitas. Yeah. I emailed them once, but they didn't get back to me.
Wait, hold up. The one of the few places in the world where you can get assisted suicide and die with care didn't email you back?
They didn't. No, they didn't. I've tried to have a DNR put on my record, but because they say that I don't have capacity, I can't do it. And then I found out about a thing called an advanced decision living will. And that comes into effect when you're unable to verbally communicate yourself. Anyway, so I wrote that when I was on the ward. I got the consultant to co-sign it. Then when I got off the ward about 2 weeks later from the head office, I got a letter saying that document's not valid because the consultant had to see you sign it. And his co-signing that's what it's all about. So I went to my doctors the same day and I saw one of my doctors and I said, look, will you co-sign this, please? He said, whoa, Tommy. He said, you know what this is? I said, yes. He said, well, you can change your mind at any time. So he said, you've got to sign it again. I signed it again. He signed it. On my next time out overdosing, I took the overdose. I had that with me. I had a suicide note. Next minute, I'm standing in a hospital in a gown and I've got security around me. I've got nurses around me. Everyone's around me. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not meant to be here. I have my advanced decision living will. And some little fucking nurse crept up behind me and stabbed me in the bum with the liquid kosh, the Largactil or whatever. And I turned around and I went, you cunt, what the fuck do you think you're doing? He shook his head. He couldn't believe it. And I said, and I was getting ramped up even more. And I was like, you fucking mugs. I had a legally binding document. You shouldn't have. Bang. He's come and done me again. And I went, you cunt. If you do it again, I'm going to take it off you and I'm going to stick it in your eye. And then I was going to him. I was giving it. And I don't remember anything after that. And next minute I woke up with the tube down my throat, cannulas, catheters, everything. And I started pulling it all out myself. And the nurse come over, no, don't do that, Tommy. You'll hurt yourself. She took it out and I demanded to see the doctor. And I said, you went against a legally binding document. He said, we called your doctor. It was Dr. Money. He's actually passed away now, sadly. See, it's ironically, I say sadly because he was helping people. But he said, no, he doesn't have capacity, keep him alive. Now, this is the same doctor that co-signed the legally binding document. Can you see how fucked up it is?
Man, oh man.
If that's not trying to take your life, I don't know what is.
I hate to preface this, but I'm almost sure I know the answer, and I'll probably cut that out because I hate when I say that, but I just felt compelled to say that. Yeah. Pink and purple pill is I give you a pill right now. I do it magically through Zoom, okay?
Yeah.
You take it, or if you should take it, you go to sleep, there's no pain, you die, and nobody knows it's a suicide. What do you do with that pill?
Well, firstly, when you put your hand through the screen, I'm going to bite your fucking fingers off when I take the pill.
Right.
So I'm not going to go out hungry. Put it that way.
Right. All right. I'll still do it for you, bro. I'll still do it for you knowing that risk.
Yeah. Sweet. And what is the purple pill?
No, it's one pill colored to pink and purple. Don't worry about the color.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, of course. I'll grind it down and snort it.
Okay.
I don't want to be here. I don't believe in the word death. I believe in passing over. And do you know what? You might be able to help me now because I remember in that interview, you mentioned about someone who you'd interviewed. He said that he was so intricate in his details. Like he would go, it would have to be a sunny day. It would have to be a certain time of year and all that. That's what I'm like. Is it going to be, because if it's going to be my last day, it's a celebration for me. It's like me going to Gatwick Airport. You're going on a journey. So where I go to, wherever I'm going to overdose, I'm going on my journey, be it to heaven, be it reincarnated straight away.
I didn't know when you go on your final journey, it's through Gatwick Airport.
No, not your final journey, but a journey,
Where are you going?
When? I don't go to Gatwick Airport. I'm saying it's like I'm going to Gatwick Airport. Like I'm going on a journey. I'm going to another country.
But if it was your last day, right, whether you use the pink and purple pill or some other method, it doesn't matter because the pink and purple pill is not real and you know real ways because you're living in the real fucking world. What would that day ideally be like for you in terms of place, in terms of weather or whatever else?
Yeah, sunny, nice and warm. I'll probably go to a nice pub, have a few pints of Guinness. I'm a people watcher. You know, I'll watch, I'll listen. You know, if there's a couple of nice birds there, I'll slip in. You right, do you want a drink and have a drink with them?
But my look, and this could be based on actual experiences that you've had. Do you think in the last moments on that sunny day after a couple of Guinnesses in the pub with the birds, perfect fucking day, what are you thinking or feeling the moments before, or even maybe more importantly, like during, after you've ingested it, assuming you're using pills, other ways wouldn't, or just as you're about to jump, or in the bathtub, what the various methods? Like, are you thinking or feeling anything? Are you hopeful? Are you looking forward to it? Are you sad? Are you angry? What's up?
Well, don't forget, by that time I've had a drink. Best way to overcome SI, which is survival instinct. And you just find a nice quiet spot. You gather your thoughts. You're like, let's get this done. Bum, they're gone. You know, I can down them in one hit now. And then that's it.
So you're calm. You're not crying.
No.
You're not angry and screaming.
No.
You're just Tommy taking care of business. You've lived 51, 52, 53 years. It's time to go.
Yeah.
And we don't know what'll happen in the afterlife for you.
That's, like I said, it's the ultimate gamble.
It's a gamble.
It's the ultimate gamble.
But you like risks.
Yeah. I love it. Who is it that said life without risk is like living no life at all?
Sometimes I play pickleball. I go down to the courts. It's local. I know a lot of people there. You know, they're there to play ball. They're not there to have best friends usually. But there's a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life. I would say I live in an area that's, not wealthy, because I'm certainly not, but, skews towards that. And it's so boring, the people. And so I come in there and I'm not trying to be antagonistic. I'm really not. But someone asks me how I'm doing and I'm honest, right? Which just like throws them for a curve, because God forbid. And then I ask them a question that I think is a normal question. Like, oh my God, Sean, you're so funny or crazy or weird because you actually you don't like the small talk. I'm like, you're right, I don't. But what strikes me about that is like, what I'm asking them is not a big deal. I'm not asking them the last time they wanted to kill them. I'm just being like curious guy. And the point is how shocked they are.
Just give me a Guinness and fuck off. That's it. You know what I mean?
People are not good at that, man. They don't care. They're not curious. That's the problem for me. One of the reasons I started the podcast, I think, is just because I wanted to have more interesting conversations. It was selfish.
You know, that's weird, because that was the next question I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you why you started this podcast.
Oh, shit. You're going to turn the tables on me? I'm down.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple more, and then you can turn it as much as you want.
Okay, sweet.
And then add anything else you want, because we didn't get to everything, but we never do. What are the myths or misconceptions, particularly around suicide or suicidal ideation, that you want to dispel, if any?
That people don't really want to die. They just want the pain to stop. That's not always true. That it's weakness. It's a coward's way out. Absolutely fucking not. That it's inconsiderate. No. Because when you're fucking hurting that much, and you see no way, you just don't want to be here. You don't like it. So what you're going to do? Roast for another 30 or 40 years just to make other people happy. Fuck it. I believe it. When it's time, it's time. When you're ready, you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this, for 8 years since I've lived at this place. I never got sectioned before I moved to this place. I'm from Lewisham, but I live in a different area now. The mental health service, air quotes, I call it the mental health company. It's just fucking shit. After 8 years and 28 section 2s, nearly 2 section 3s, loads of 136s, now they want to offer me fucking therapy. I used to be a pool lifeguard years ago, and the phrase was always, prevention is better than cure. So now, I'm a creation of their failures. And now they want to fucking rectify it. Now that my nan's passed away and I can't show her, let her have a peaceful rest of her life. Now they want to fucking put me in these groups and this, that, the other, too little, too late.
Is that the memoir title? Too Little, Too Late?
Do you know what? That's a good one. That's better than the other one, I think.
What's yours? What do you want it to be? I think it's a little soft for you, frankly.
I'll tell you what. I've got another piece I haven't written in ages, but I wrote something a few weeks ago. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, of course I do.
It's slightly longer than the other one, though.
You never know what you're going to get with Tommy.
Okay, my final word. I can't do this anymore. I decline to continue. This monotonous torrent of emptiness fills me with dread. I am drowning, suffocating, suffering. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to be reunited with my loved ones on the other side. But survival instinct is so strong, so overpowering. It clings to me, battling me, right until the very end. It takes a great deal of skill and experience to overcome, which I've successfully achieved many times. I should actually have been gone from here a long time ago, but they keep bringing me back. Why? What the fuck kind of world is this? This is not living. This is torture on a systemic scale, and I'm done. I want to feel unconditional love again. I want to feel like I belong again. I want to feel again. I'm an empty vessel floating on the waves of insanity, and my SOS is not being received. I must find my tribe, those who understand me and do not wish to dissect my mind, perplex it with drugs, and detain me against my will for possessing knowledge which they are simply unable to comprehend. The intrusive thoughts once again are circling their prey, assuring me that I know what must be done. The cadence intensifies by the day, and this time, leaping to the afterlife is the method they have chosen. I have been close before, on the precipice between hell and freedom, but I admit, my mind and body were paralyzed with fear. I must do this. I will do this. And no one can stop me this time. My intellectual superiority will guide me through any obstacle. Like a ballerina, I will pirouette out of this world and into the next. I'm listening to my exit playlist as I write this. Music truly is an excellent tool when attempting to take one's life. Lyrics take on new meanings, and a song can be twisted and obscured in one's mind to fulfill any desire. It both angers and inspires me simultaneously. Intricately entwined, my mind loses itself and finds itself. It gets me onto the right path, the only path, the path that my soul so desperately needs to be on. I'll show everyone just how much distress I'm in. Totally sober, I'll let adrenaline be my fuel. Rumination, chanting, music, my nan, and the sheer desire to no longer exist in this realm is a formidable cocktail. I've used it before, I'll use it again. I want it to be different this time. No more tranquil overdoses with too high a degree of failure. Fuck that. Jumping, the true warrior's exit. My body will implode on impact and blood will scatter like a beautiful piece of art. When combined with my strategy, this will truly be a masterpiece, a benchmark for others to follow. I'm not going out quietly this time. I will leave my mark on this world, clearly demonstrating what it has done to me. I will be remembered for this one. I hope to inspire others who, like me, are imprisoned in this alien landscape.
You know what that sounds like to me?
What?
A suicide note.
I was working around that, yeah, but it was just, you can hear a lot more anger in that one.
For sure. All right, what questions you got for me?
I mean, have you ever made an attempt?
No.
Are you suicidal?
Now we're getting into semantics a little bit, right? What does that mean?
If you could take the pink pill, whatever it's called, and not be here, and it was pain-free, would you want to be gone?
I would save it. I don't think I would take it right now. No.
Okay.
But if you ask me why, I can't actually tell you. At this point in my life, I think this work is one of, and perhaps the thing that's keeping me tethered.
I thought you was going to say something along those lines.
Like, I've actually thought about it in some dark moments. Like, yeah, but I've got 10 people I talk to. I have to edit those and get them out. And by the time I'm done with that, I'll have 10 or 20 more. I can't fucking talk to Tommy and not get that podcast episode out to the world. And of course, you know, even if we absolutely were like the perfect communicators, I still have to edit. So that's going to take some time, no matter what, right?
Maybe you found your purpose.
Certainly a big purpose, yeah.
Fucking amazing. Okay, how much negative feedback have you had? Have you ever had anything in like newspapers or stuff like that talking about this podcast? That
Jesus, man, I wish I had a newspaper that gave a fuck. No one gives a shit, Tommy. They're too busy. They're too this. They're too that. And I'm not particularly good at, you know, publicity and all that stuff. I don't put a lot of time into it. No, I've had a few people reach out with some, not even that negative. Just, I didn't like the way that your guest said something. I'm like,
yeah. If you don't like it, you know, leave.
I mean, like, my job isn't to filter the guest. I mean, I have some editorial choices I make, right? But if you understand the point of the podcast, and I tried to share that with this person.
Well, obviously you're doing something right. 250 plus and contributors and going strong, you got to be doing something, right?
Yeah, definitely. Feels good.
I'd say you're providing a good service, because where can you know, if I was to phone up any of the helplines that I know, mention a tenth of how I'm feeling, I'd have police and ambulance at my door as usual, straight away. And if I don't open the door, I mean, this door's been put in like 4 times. You're providing a fantastic service. And I praise you for that, bruv. I praise you for that.
Happy to do it. Yeah, it sounds like it's pretty similar here. You can't really talk about it. What happens when you call this number or that number? If you say this or that.
You got to be very mindful of what you say. Whereas in this format between you and I, you know, and I'll guarantee, you know, there's going to be hundreds of people around the world that listen to it that think just similar to me.
Oh, for sure.
Similar to me. Thousands.
Oh, yeah. Thousands. Yeah. Right. And, you know, most of them I'll never talk to. If they don't want to talk, sure. But they hear it. See, the thing is that people don't get, sometimes it seems like, oh, it's so nice that you're giving a space for people to talk about this stuff. I'm like, right. But actually, there's something just as important happening is other people can hear the conversation. Both are important, but I don't pretend to be a therapist or a counselor or any of that shit. I'm just a guy who wants to learn more about people and hear their stuff and then have others hear it. Because if it's just us talking, sure, maybe you feel a little better, maybe not. I don't know.
Have you had anyone from the UK before?
Yeah, a handful of people from the UK.
But you know what I was just thinking? What I would love to do right now, book a flight, come out to wherever you are, book into a hotel and spend a week with you out in the bars, having a drink, doing whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I think because I've been banged up, prison, I don't think I'm coming to the US anymore.
Oh, really?
That's what someone told me. A fella tried to visit with his missus, the
visa, they won't give you a visa?
Won't let him in. I don't know if it's within a certain time or what.
Easy. Let me ask you a question. How many times have you had a conversation with a friend, with a lover, with a doctor, whoever? You said something about suicide, and that person said, look, you could do whatever you want to do. I don't want you to do it, but it's your choice.
Well, not friends. I mean, Mandy's the only one that I talk to, which is the birth mother. She won't listen to it. No, I ain't going to listen to it. But then when I'm in a coma and I'm coming to, she's there crying her fucking eyes out. Do you know what I mean? It's
weird. I mean, I'm not judging people for dealing with stuff and people, and they got all sorts of stuff and emotions mixed up and shit comes out of their mouth and it's fear and it's this and it's that. Okay. I just think if we let when you say to somebody, it's your choice, you're not saying, I want you to kill yourself. You're saying you're giving someone agency over their life. And that's a great starting point. And I think if we let people have that, you would see a significant change. I don't know. You just, ultimately people are going to, when people say, well, suicide's not an option. I'm like,
but it fucking is.
But it is an option. So why don't we have an honest conversation about it? So you're in make-believe world and we're not. How about we get into not make-believe world and speak the truth? And maybe if you kill yourself, Tommy, tomorrow, people would say, bye. I'd say, you know what I did for Tommy? Or Tommy did for me too. We had a good conversation. And for an hour or two, we felt a little less shitty. How about that? That's something?
And less alone.
What is this podcast about? When I'm editing, I think when there's stuff that comes up, it doesn't happen often where I'm like, should I include that or not? If you've listened to the podcast, I include most stuff. I'm thinking my main metric is this going to help people feel less shitty and less alone or not?
But sometimes it's just, just talking about, it's like we've got a thing over here called Samaritans, and I call them fairly regularly. They don't judge you. They don't. What you have to understand, Sean, is, I've got EPD, BPD, which is a personality disorder. It can't be fixed. It can't be repaired. It is entwined into your brain, into your being. And it's from fucked up experiences growing up. You can't talk that out of someone. You can say, well, rather than doing this, why not try this or why not try that? But like I said, they should have done that 8 years ago when I was first sectioned. Not just leave me walking around the ward for 28 days, taking tablets. And because all you're doing is, it's like jail, as a fucking, I went in there not knowing fuck all. I did something and hurt someone. I come out with a PhD in fucking crime. You know what I mean? You go into a psychiatric ward and you know how to take an overdose. You come out and you know how to tie a fucking slip knot. You know how to get around this bridge. You know how to this. Do you know what I mean? It's a breeding ground.
What else would you like to share, Tommy in England?
No, just, I've spoken honestly. I don't mince my words. I haven't said anything incriminating. I don't do anything wrong. I just try and take my life. But that's weird. I don't do anything wrong, I just tried to take my life. That's another book.
Well, yeah, right. What would you say if you were in another realm and no longer alive, right? If somebody reached out to me and said, you talked to this guy in England for like a while.
Yeah.
And it was so clear that he was going to end his life. And all you did was just keep talking to him. You didn't say one thing about don't do it. You never said get help. You never did anything. You just let the guy talk about it. And here he is. And now he's dead.
The first time you mention anything like that, I'll be like, right, we're done now. See you later. I'm going to make a sandwich.
And anytime if anyone heard that, they wouldn't reach out to me to talk. They wouldn't even listen to the podcast.
I'll say, no, I would give you full permission to get my medical records, and you can go through the whole lot on an episode, and then you can see how I've been failed by the system. What have they done to help me? They've waited 8 years before they're offering me group therapy.
Yeah.
They said I was too high risk before. I've been for assessments, and they said, no, you're too high risk. You're too high risk. You're too high risk. You're too high risk. So I've been literally denied services, and now they're putting a hand out. I'm expecting to fucking, like you say, suck their dick.
What did your nan say about all of this when you guys would talk about it?
She always used to say to me, Tom, I love life. God has been so good to me. He blesses me in every way. She said, why do you keep doing this to yourself? I said, I just don't like it, man. Now imagine if I'm going back to it again, but if I had this therapy offered just 4 years ago, the last few years could have been that much more peaceful, But after I come out of that really severe overdose, I stayed with her for about 6 months, and then she passed away, So God works in mysterious ways. We had that time together. I would stay with her every weekend before anyway. We'd go out for lunch, and then I'd stay there till Monday. And then it got to Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then I'd do a week. Before she passed, it was about 6 months that we had together. So, I believe she's looking over me now. Look, my photo frame, digital photo frame, she couldn't read or write, but she wrote on a card, I love you, Tommy. I love you, Nan. And on my digital photo frame right now, I've got the card there. That's running all day long next to me. And I always look at it and I say, I love you, Nan. This is why I'm very spiritual. I know she helps me. We will be reunited. And if I'm wrong about it all, then I'm wrong. But I believe in what I believe in, and that's all there is to it.
Good talk.
Definitely. I fucking enjoyed it. But thank you for offering.
You are very welcome, man. I hope you get some good sleep tonight, man.
Yeah, same thing for you, yeah?
Thanks, man.
All right, take care, bro.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support, and special thanks to Tommy in England. Thanks, Tommy. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or chronic ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. I'd like to talk with you. hello@suicidenoted.com. Check out the podcast description, the show notes, the website to learn more about this podcast. We're up to some pretty cool shit. If you want to get involved, we'd love to have you. Either way, thanks very much for listening. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.